Hey there, and welcome to another edition of FanSaves Helps Shop Local series. My name is Kris McCarthy. I'm your co-host, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Kris Larson, who is the president of Sports and Entertainment Atlantic. How are you today, Kris?
I'm very well, Chris, and it's always a pleasure for one Chris to talk to another Chris. There's not enough Chris's in the world.
Absolutely. Why don't you begin by telling us about Sports and Entertainment Atlantic?
Yeah, we're a Halifax, Nova Scotia-based sport event management company, rather dimensional in terms of producing and staging events of our own, or hosting and bidding for and hosting events on behalf of other organizations. We've been at it for over 10 years with a staff that has probably well in excess of 50 years of experience in this space. And we also consider ourselves probably the experts in the region on sponsorship and sponsorship management. So these times right now are particularly challenging, as they are for any industry, but the event industry is being hit very, very, very hard.
Yeah, and with COVID-19 really affecting every kind of business, especially the sports industry, what kinds of things has he been able to do to kind of pivot, still maintain relevance, kind of promote your partners, or just change day-to-day operations?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. It's one we ask ourselves every day. So staff-wise, we meet on a Zoom call 3 times a week, with obviously lots of other interchange going on outside the Zoom call, and we're spending time, because we have the pause and we have the time to work away at some things that you rarely have time to do. And some of it's making sure the website is as functional and as robust as it can be. But we're really trying to set the stage for how do we work through the next X number of months, start at 12 months and maybe work back to continue to have positive and strong relationships with our partners. Sponsors being obviously a large sector in the broader category of partners. So we have certainly been very, very active in maintaining and amplifying our lines of communications with our key sponsors of all the various properties that we're engaged in. Inquiring and keeping them up to speed on what we know about any resets, but also showing the empathy and inquiring how this is hurting them, how this is impacting them, and hopefully demonstrating that we at Sea care, that we're a friend that wants to help a friend, so to speak, if there are ways that we can help them. So a robust open line of communication with great regularity. The reality here is that we're not going to have live events of crowd gathering size of any magnitude probably for the better part of a year. So we're pivoting very, very quickly into the digital virtual space. We expect to be in the e-gaming, esports business in a small way very, very quickly here in June, to set the table for perhaps some expansion in that area, something that we have been talking about but never had enough time to set aside the time that it takes to start a new business enterprise. So and we hope to be able to provide our sponsors of our traditional events some sponsorship value in the e-space as we wait out this pause. And so that's really our first venture. We don't have an event on our calendar until Labor Day, and who's to know whether that's going to happen. So we've got several months ahead of us to work our way through, but also to use that time wisely. Not only galvanizing current situations and current partnerships, but looking for new opportunities. As bad as all of this is, I'm of the mind that there will be new opportunities that spring from this once we see some semblance of normalcy again. And probably we don't know what they are right now, because we don't have a clear line of sight into what that might be. But we want to be able to be as nimble and adaptive as we can possibly be as we work our way through this. And everybody's going through it. So we at Sea are no different. I commend you at FanSaves for the brilliance of the move, the brilliance of the initiative into the gift certificate campaign. One that, as you know, Kris, we're replicating here. We're a few weeks behind you, but we'll catch up.
That's all right. And you mentioned, you've made that pivot into the esports scene. You've been able to, you're going to be able to provide some of your current partners with some value by incorporating the e-gaming. You do also currently have some of your partners up on fansaveshelps.ca, where people can go and they can buy gift certificates to support the businesses that support C. As we both know, a lot of events and, upcoming events have been canceled or postponed that you guys had on the calendar. And people don't realize, I think, like how much goes into these events, and sponsorship is a really big piece of that, right? So how, maybe give a shout out to some of your bigger partners, and maybe talk about some of the other ways that you're trying to provide value for your current partners.
Yeah, you know what, we're very fortunate here because we have some length of play in hosting events to develop some very deep and meaningful partnerships right across the region. Our good friends at Cavendish Farms, who are Moncton based, that would be the French Fry Company, of course, have been staunch partners on every University Cup event we've done, and are currently a partner and are committed to being a partner down the road. So that's an example. We have great relationships with Tim Hortons. A lot of events and projects and properties do have great relationships with Tim Hortons. We're fortunate to call ourselves one of those, and they are truly part of the national fiber of this country of ours, and are always at the forefront of wanting to be community engaged. I would say the very, very same for Canadian Tire. Across a number of properties, we have a very deep relationship with Canadian Tire, and by saying those two companies, you've probably just identified two of the most iconic Canadian brands in this country. And we're very fortunate here in Atlantic Canada, this end of the East Coast end of our country, to have these type of partnerships. Scotia Bank in the financial services industry, Scotia, they all are tremendous community partners, of course, but we've been able to develop a beachhead of engagement with Scotia Bank on a number of properties. So when you see these corporations on their national and international platforms doing what they're doing to help everybody get through COVID, we understand we're just a small piece of that on a regional basis, but it makes you feel proud to have partners like that.
Absolutely. And, if someone wanted to learn more about Sports and Entertainment Atlantic, where could they go to find out more information?
Well, we are on the World Wide Web at Sports and Entertainment Atlantic, catlantic.ca, catlantic.ca. And we're on all the social media platforms. And we welcome the opportunity to engage in conversation with those people who are supporters, who buy the tickets to our events. We're always engaged in those kind of conversations, and our partners and our prospective partners and our prospective projects. We have a number of projects in the funnel that the funnel's just a little stagnant right now.
And if some of your biggest supporters, some of your loyal fans or your loyal partners are watching this video right now, what would you want to tell them?
We're all in this together. I think that's the overarching comment I've heard from everybody in all industries across the spectrum of the business world. But when you look at sports and then the subset of events in sports, there truly is an understanding that we are all in this together, and we're going to find our way out of it together. And it really has put an even higher level of collaboration, priority on collaboration and partnerships. So, a good friend the other day had a very, very good expression that I'll share with you on this, and that is, inhale the future and exhale the past. So if we keep our eye on the ball of what's ahead of us and what's behind us, we can't get that ketchup back in the bottle anyway. Let's stay focused on what's ahead of us.
Well, Kris, I appreciate you taking the time today to tell us more about sports and entertainment Atlantic and how you've been coping during COVID-19. Your optimism is really inspiring. So I want to remind all the listeners out there, to everyone, to stay home, stay healthy, and shop local. Thanks for doing this, Kris.
Thank you. Great pleasure. Chat again soon.